There is a device in this world that can change the perception of all who wield it. A device so powerful that it can make you feel like your head is splitting open if you do not possess a gift. It has sent many to a peril that they never recovered from. It can be so deadly that it sends them to the dooms of... Yeah. I can't do this anymore. I don't even know why I did this. My throat hurts now. God, I'm gonna need some meds. Fuck all you guys. Seriously.
Oh hey man, it's been a while. Where have you been?
I made some shitty analysis videos on games and anime for some time. You know, JoJo fans are fucking insane.
Sorry, can't talk. I'm watching a video right now.
What's it about?
Virtual reality.
They're just corporate robots that will be thrown away when they have no more use for them. Well, time to jack it.
Yeah, nice video, buddy. Let me actually tell you about VR and how cool, weird, and also really stupid it is. Virtual reality is a technology that can be dated back to the 1950s. Theory-wise, anyways. We didn't have a proper model or anything till, like, the 80s. Although, back then it was completely different to the type of VR everyone is used to nowadays. We had the greatest and most useful devices such as NASA's View headset, which look like some alien shit trying to take over the little to no brain cells you have left. How the fuck do I take this off? Help!
Insufficient permission to access Heliodor ecological
what?
line point, otherwise known as HELP. Starting self-destruction program. 5, 4, 3, 2.
As cool and nifty as that device is, we didn't see the first few commercial headsets related to video games till the 90s. CGW, an American game magazine, said that, quote, affordable VR by 1994, end quote. Yeah, sure. Moving on, Sega announced the Sega VR in 1991, a headset meant for arcade games and the Mega Drive. Unfortunately, the version for the Mega Drive never saw the light of day. But we got to see that arcade version and damn, it looks kinda sick actually. Looks like it's straight out of a Tron film. Although there were a few others in the works, a lot of them were either cancelled or were released and were absolute garbage. What was that? Garbage? Introducing the Virtual Boy, Nintendo's gateway to pure hell. The device was released in 1995 and people didn't know what the fuck it was, but bought it anyways. I mean, it doesn't look half bad, not that it looks cool or anything, but it definitely doesn't look like the gateway to hell everyone. Oh god, what is going on? Are my eyes bleeding? Yeah. It wasn't a very good looking piece of technology. It wasn't a very good functioning piece of technology either, but it had some pretty nifty games on it. The big titles on the system were Wario Land, Mario Clash, Mario's Tennis, and 3D Tetris. But there was one that reigned over all, Jak Bros. Possibly the greatest Megaten game in existence. We have the most iconic mascot character as well as Pyro Jack, Jack Ripper, in an overhead styled action game. It's actually pretty cool. Other than these games, there weren't many others that made me go, wow, this looks rad, let me sell one of my organs to play it. Of course, others felt the same way. After the outstanding success that was the Virtual Boy, naturally no one else tried releasing one. Moving on to the 2000s, a great decade full of innovation, beauty, Kanye West, and no virtual reality devices. Truly the greatest decade, but yeah, nothing happened for VR in the 2000s. Companies probably remember the failure that was the Virtual Boy and stopped thinking about trying to make something that is not really possible with technology during that time, which was for the best, honestly. The world needed a break from virtual reality, especially for what was coming next.
My name is Paul Merlucky, and I'm a virtual reality enthusiast and the designer of the Rift.
In the 2010s, we'd see a massive boom in the VR industry, and it was thanks to Oculus, well, technically ZeniMax, but let's not worry about that. In 2010, the first prototype for the Oculus Rift was designed, and it looks pretty similar to NASA's View headset, just nowhere near as terrifying. Facebook later went to purchase Oculus VR for like some chump change. Chump change. In 2013, Valve did some development on some VR stuff that came into play when they made the HTC Vive in 2015. In 2014, Sony announced Project Morpheus, which is definitely not a reference to Matrix at all. Anyways, this later went on to become the PSVR and released in 2016. It was fucking expensive as balls and only really had one game that mattered. A bunch of smartphone VR devices came out for the next few years and they kinda took over the market for a bit. VR was the new cool technology and everybody wanted in. even if it meant having your smartphone being as hot and inconsistent quality-wise as microwaved foods. Nowadays, you don't see as many people talk about VR on smartphones. But man, back in like 2016, it was crazy. Honestly, that whole year was nuts. Pokemon Go happened, the elections in the US happened, which led to Trump winning. Vine blew up and died. The Paul brothers started existing for some reason. YouTube drama and intrigue were at an all-time high with people like Leafy. I'm getting sidetracked though. What were we talking about? VR. Right. HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift were the big VR devices at the time. One looked like Crocs and the other looked like a lunchbox. What even is design? Design aside, these were the first VR devices that actually functioned well. They weren't amazing, but they played games, they did VR stuff, and it made only 70% of the population sick. A huge upgrade if you ask me. A lot of people bought it for the experience of VR and what it felt like. And others, well...
Oh, yeah. That's soft. I can't believe I'm actually touching one for the first time. It's amazing. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff.
That was the state of VR for a few years. Sony's PSVR still sucked balls, so no one really cared. HTC and Oculus were just dominating the market, and people were content with it. Let's move on to the state of VR in recent years. Oculus released a new and improved model of their 2016 model called the Rift S. This headset actually has sensors on the headset, so you don't have to create 10 tripping hazards getting the sensors in different parts of your room. Alongside this, they released the Oculus Quest, essentially one of those smartphone VR things but without the smartphone, and also much better. A sequel to this was put out in 2020 called the Oculus Quest 2, who would have guessed? I honestly feel this device is the best gateway into the mess that is VR. It's simple, easy to use, it's portable, and you don't need a PC for it. And if you do want to use it with a PC, you can buy an extra cable. It's just all around the better VR device. So, I bought the Rift S instead! HTC released the Vive Cosmos. This time, instead of Crocs, they look like the bottom of my shoes. Good stuff, HTC, really nailing it with the footwear theme you got going on. Windows Mixed Reality looks like some Robocop shit, and finally, Valve Index is hands down the best VR device, but you have to have like a fuck ton of money lying around to buy it. Especially in Australia. Fuck you, Valve. I feel like we're done here, but I feel like I'm also forgetting something. Oh yeah, VR has games and stuff. Gaming in VR, it doesn't get any more immersive than this, when it doesn't want to make me puke or make me blind. See, there's this thing that exists. It's called motion sickness. And when a virtual body is moving when I'm not, my brain essentially shits itself and goes into migraine mode. Not a fun time. Probably why a lot of games feature a teleport system in VR. The games are pretty fun if you pick them right though. My favorite game in VR is Google Earth, cause it doesn't make me wanna puke. Great game. You can like travel places and find places and go places, and yeah, why the fuck did I drop over $450 on this thing? Oh, that's right. I'm a loser. Okay guys, hear me out. I only wanted to know what anime would look like in person. This is normal, right? You're a fucking loser! Moving on, as you can see, I mostly use VR for simulator or experience type software. I don't really play many games on this thing since they usually make me feel sick. But I had a fun time with the likes of Superhot, Odyssea, and especially Skyrim, if you modded that is. Those were the games I would play the most. I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 4 VR just cause buying that 10 times wasn't enough already. And yes, there are dating sims on this. Although they are more so simulation games. The likes of VR Kanojo, Together VR, VR Chat, and a few others. For some reason, they all include sexual content. Weird. Oh yeah, I put VR Chat there cause I just see so many people trying to get a girlfriend, but they all end up being dudes. Unlucky. Speaking of VR Chat, it's really weird, but also cool if you find the right people. You can have some real fun with randos you've never met before. But a lot of the time you meet people who aren't the greatest. I try to stay off there. Now, moving on to the future of VR. Honestly speaking, VR has a massive future ahead of it. A lot of people already love VR in its current state, and the market for it is massive now. I wonder why. One of the big things I hope they fix is me getting motion sickness. I'll be real happy. I know that a bunch of companies have joined the scene and are working on innovative new VR headsets. Apple is also working on one, and it'll be around $1,000 US. Yeah, no thanks. I'm sure Oculus and HTC are working on a new VR device. Hopefully Valve is willing to make one that you can buy in Australia and not have to pay 1.5 grand to have it imported here. Honestly though, VR is a really exciting scene, even if I personally don't enjoy it as much as others do. Maybe one day we'll see some games I'm into in VR. Maybe they'll make Sword Art Online real so my friend can shut up about it. Only time will tell. At the moment, VR is only in its early stages, to be honest. Give it a decade more or two and we might have something as mainstream as home consoles. Also, I have no idea why my Rift S keeps asking me to put this child barrier thing on. I'm not a child. I'm honestly kind of offended. I know where the walls are in my own house.
I'm fine!
You fucking dumbass!
Silly bitches, bird time!